Welcome, everyone. Calling to order the Governance and Priorities meeting for Monday, December 1st at 5 o'clock. Adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions?
I do have an addition, Mayor Shannon, please, under closed section item 11.1. Access to Information Act, section 20, disclosure harmful to personal privacy.
Thank you. Any other additions? Being none, does anybody want to make a motion to accept the agenda with amendments? Okay.
I move that we accept the agenda for the December 1st, 2025 meeting as amended.
Thank you. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that is carried. Adoption of the minutes for November 3rd, 2025 Governance and Priorities Committee meeting. Has anyone noticed any changes to those? Will there be a motion? Does someone want to make a motion on that? Yami.
I move that council adopt the minutes of the November 3rd, 2025 Governance and Priority meeting as presented.
Thank you. All those in favor? Carried. There are no delegations present. Comments from the public. The gallery is empty. Right, go on to 6, review of bylaws or policy. There are none. Unfinished business, number 7, there is none. And we'll go to number 8, which is current business. The seniors drop-in center lease with Director Bell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Situated. So we can see faces and not just the machine in front of me here. The report before you this evening is an introduction to a lease policy that the town of Peace River has had in place for at least 5 years, if not longer. This policy provides direction, clarity, and transparency to our nonprofit organizations that lease spaces, specifically buildings and land, from the town of Peace River. We have in place a number of leases that, and I presented some of this information to council during the orientation session. My words and my tongue aren't working together here tonight. Specifically, we have the curling club, the ski hill, the senior center is the one we'll be discussing tonight. We have land leases in place with the daycare society, Sagatow Friendship Center on 2 sites. There's quite a listing of different leases and lease arrangements. The topic this evening is specifically around the senior center. This is a bit of a unique situation. To be frank and transparent, for many decades, the Seniors Club believed the building was owned outright by the seniors organization. However, when we do some digging in our files, specifically land titles, other documentation, the town is and has insured the building for decades. It looks as if the town actually owns the building and land. So bit of a surprise to everyone when we actually went in and did some work around this, as opposed to just basing decision-making on memories, which for some of us is not a great way to go. So before you this evening is a bit of a request. I have met with the Seniors Club board and discussed with them 2 options. Their option was we could look at under the Municipal Government Act to actually sell the building back to them. as a nonprofit, it would be a fairly easy process. Or we could formalize under our lease policy, a lease arrangement. And that's what they've chosen out of those two options. They would prefer to go that route. The town covers the insurance. There's a bit of a backstop for the organization. However, this particular group is extremely independent. They've managed all their own renovations, construction. They take extremely well care of the structure. They're the model leasee, as it were, for any organization or any landlord. The reason why I'm bringing the lease discussion to council, one, great educational opportunity for members of council of these types of arrangements that the town has in place. But we have a standard and a non-standard process. So our standard lease is $1 a year. The organization is fully responsible for all operating costs, including any renovations, any maintenance. Basically that $1 a year, that's the town's commitment to providing them the building, but they are required to do all maintenance and operating costs in turn for the building for $1. In this particular case, we have been paying the operational costs specifically around the water aspect to the operational use of water to that building. It's just been built into the town's budgets in one way or the other. It's been shuffled around different budgets over the years. It falls under our senior services budget now. And it's anywhere from, it was about 3,500, but it's closer to 5,000 operating cost a year. So this is out of the norm or outside of our standard lease. So the non-standard requests need to come to council for your direction for administration. And your CAO and I would implement your direction through a change to that particular standard lease form. So I provide you with a couple of options. I'm sorry, the last 3 years, water has averaged about $7,000, so a slight increase. And I would anticipate that would only increase as the years go on. Excuse me. There are a couple of options for you. You can look at giving direction to, yes, include the existing water as part of their standard operating lease, and the town will continue to cover that amount. You could defer this to budget conversation. That is another option, which I don't believe I mentioned within the report. But if you'd like to look at the costs in relationship to the whole budget, that is absolutely within your purview to do so. And your other option is to give direction to not include water within the lease, standard lease, and we'll proceed on all other items within the lease requirements that we'd like to proceed with. So I throw it out to your discussion.
Any questions? Give me your card.
What is our standard lease for nonprofits? Is it $1 for the building?
Correct.
And then they cover
Operating.
all
everything.
operating expenses, including water and so on?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Thank you.
all utilities, renovations, everything. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Do any other councillors have any thoughts on this? I do. I'll say mine. I actually would like to see us continue to pay the water. That would be my wish. I think when it comes to the senior population, we do kind of contradict ourselves a couple of times a year. We say out of one side that we want them to age in place at home, and on the other side, we make things much more expensive for them. This might be one way to, to throw a little support into that demographic. But also, if we have done it this long,
Mhm.
I mean, if it's grandfathered in that way, I can't see breaking it out now. I think that would cause more issue than if we just left it. Mayor Carr.
Have they shared any thoughts on this from their end?
They're hopeful that the existing practice will continue, because then it's placing an operational cost back on the organization. And considering how diligent they are with maintenance and all the other utilities, and I think their hope is that this remains as is.
Counselor Duce?
Yeah, I just wanted to throw my thoughts out there. I would tend to agree with Mayor Shannon that it would be my hope that we would support the seniors population as much as we can. And since this was already the arrangement that was happening before, I see no reason to change it. Thank you.
Would anyone want to make a motion to that effect? We can't. For information, anyone would want to make a motion to accept that for information? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I might suggest that you could move that council direct administration to bring the seniors drop-in center non-standard lease to a future council meeting for formal consideration.
Okay. Counselor Duce, would you make that?
I would like to make that motion. Yes, please.
Okay. Any other discussion on it? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Perfect.
And that is carried. Thank you. Number 2, bulk water truck fill station update with Director Fisher.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I got asked about providing an update on the bulk water station. So I prepared a briefing note. It does include a little bit of a history here. Just a couple of years prior to us replacing the panel, the top 3 users, government agencies and projects were in the top 2 of the top 3. With the top 10, I think we were quite a number of them. And I think if I dug in a little bit deeper, you'd find that a lot of the contractors were actually working on our projects in town here. We do have, we installed basically a panel that isn't fit for purpose, doesn't meet our finances needs, it doesn't link with our financial system, it doesn't give us regular reporting. The other side of that conversation is lots of the contractors, in order to use that panel, we had to install a second panel that also doesn't work for them. That requires them to provide operator or their staff with a credit card, and that was kind of not ideal. So we have been working on, and it's been really low priority for myself because we are not getting a lot of asks for use of the truck fill station. But we are replacing it with a new panel that will meet the finance team's needs. It'll allow basically contractors to create their own accounts, preload an amount onto it, and then they will just be able to enter in a code to use the truck fill station going forward. So we won't have to do what was the previous practice where each transaction gets matched with a bill and sent out and then chasing for collections and stuff. So it should be, because it'll be a prepaid system, it'll be a lot easier for our finance team to administer. The system that we're going to install will interface with our finance system. The manufacturer is the same system we ripped out in the first place. And it will still also have the credit card platform on site as well. So if anybody from the public wants to rock up to the truck fill station and use a credit card, they'll have that ability as well. Parts are in order. We're in the process of confirming the fabrication drawings right now. I anticipate we'll have the parts delivered and starting installed and commissioning in March 2026. Hopefully before we start doing sweeping and stuff in town here. But that's where we're at. It was pretty low priority. I think in the last couple of years, we've had 3 or 4 different contractors ask us to have access to the truck fill station outside of our own operations. And our public works team has portable meters that we've been setting up and working with our utility clerk to make sure that they get accounted for and billed. But it's not a very high demand service generally. So The construction contracts, government contracts make up for like 85% of our usage before we replace the panel. So certainly think the ones that are in the top 10 that are still operating are reaching out to us for the most part for the meter. I just wanted to provide an update, open to questions.
Any questions for Director Fisher? Go ahead.
So water trucking business is something that I know a little bit about. We used to own a trucking company, my family did, hauling water to oil rigs. So I guess my only concern is the fact that this is a service, the town sells essentially one product really, which is the water service. I'd like to see this made a little bit more of a priority and advertise that we actually have it. We actually purchased a large amount of water from a neighboring fill station for one of our large projects because it wasn't available here in town. So one of my questions that I have is with the prepay option, so someone would have to come into the town office and put $1,000 down for a water bill and then it just gets used up, or how does that work?
In the prepaid situation, it's an online portal. So as a vendor that wants to use the Structural Station, you would go online, set up your account, and then you just load whatever you want on there. So if you need more, you can add it really easily. What we're trying to do is avoid a situation that I don't know if we've encountered it here, but I know in a previous community I worked in, we had a situation where we invoiced out for an oil field hauler. Obviously not the same one, but they went bust and we actually had to write down almost $140,000 worth of water bill that we couldn't collect because the business was no longer. So that's what we're trying to avoid by switching to a prepaid system. And it's not those everyday users or the regular ones that are around all the time that create those problems for us, but it's certainly a way we can manage it, and it reduces the admin effort behind the scenes, right? Like I said previously, every invoice was matched with, we generate for every transaction on that previous Structural Station, we would generate an invoice and mail it out, and if they didn't pay, we'd have to go and chase them a little bit. Certainly the prepaid system reduces that administrative effort.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If there are none, can someone make the motion? Except for information. Councilor Forsyth,
I move that council accept the bulk water truck bill station update for information.
all those in favor? And that is carried. Number 3, again with Director Fisher, Reservoir 365 power supply contract.
This one's just an update. So for new councilors, last year in November, I brought forward a request asking for about $41,000 to purchase out a power supply contract at the Reservoir 365. So that's the one in the south end of town here. Basically, when we did the capital project, in order to reduce the capital cost, we locked ourselves into a power supply contract with ATCO. And it required us it reduced our capital contribution for upgrades to the site that were necessary. But it locked us into a minimum power rate and a higher rate structure than we really needed at the site. So using the operational data and everything, we were able to renegotiate that and buy out the contract. So going forward, we just kind of got our bills updated last month because they didn't process it right away and had to backdate a bunch. It looks like about $14,000 year to date, or for a full year, for 2025. And that'll be kind of like an ongoing perpetual savings. So the simple buyback calculation, $41,000, $14,000 a year. It's just under 3 years. It's a pretty no-brainer. But I just wanted to bring that back and give an update because we're really bad as admin sometimes on making sure that you guys see the things that you guys make decisions on, getting that final reporting. So I'll open to questions, but it's just for your information.
Any questions for Director Fisher? If there are none, does anyone want to make a motion to accept for information?
I move that the council accept the reservoir to 365 power supply information update.
Thank you. All those in favor? And that is carried. Number 4, Destination Development Association Assessment Findings.
Thank you, Mayor Shannon. I too am just going to complete the circle on this project. So as council is aware, last year administration applied for and were successful to obtain funds for the NRED grant. And that grant funding was to support a destination development assessment project plus a retail and services gap analysis. As you're aware, the Roger Brooks came and did the destination development assessment this summer. Following his week here, we held a public invitation to his presentation that was held in July 8th. And following that public presentation, that video is available on our YouTube page for those who are interested in viewing it. Subsequently, there was a meeting held the following day with administration staff and further digging in a little bit into the recommendations that came out of that project. Part of the deliverables of that project included a book, which I believe council received, the assessment findings and suggestions report. I'm not sure if you've got this or seen this. This is also online now, available for anybody to view, and there was 100 recommendations that were presented or provided to the town for us to now go through and act on some of these recommendations. So with that, again, this report should be online, and there's a link there on your report. And the actual presentation, there's a YouTube presentation you can review. And so these resources, we trust that they're going to serve a roadmap to improve our attractiveness to visitors and residents and investors. And we're also, if we are successful on this year's application for NRED, we'll be launching a big marketing campaign and working off some of these recommendations as well. Thank you.
Any questions for Dale Miller? I have one. How many copies of those printed ones do you have?
I have a couple of extras.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, so we're looking at for a motion to accept for information. Councilor Forsyth?
I move the council accept the briefing note regarding Destination Development Association's final community assessment report for information.
Thank you. All those in favor? And that is carried.
Mayor Shannon? I was advised that this report here is included on your USB stick of reports and whatnot. You were given at orientation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to reports. The attendance reports, number 1, anybody have any questions for anyone on those? If not, we'll move to 2. We've got the Protective Services report. Mr. Kress, is there anything you'd like to mention?
Nope, just that in November, we had 48 files created. Year to date, we're 1,134 files. And then we still have 11 files active left on the queue right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions for Director Kress? So we'll move on. Number 3, Mighty Peace Tourism with Councillor Ford, who's not in attendance tonight. Then we have 2 North Peace Housing Foundation reports, synopsis of the meeting. Deputy Mayor Carr, do you have anything to add for that?
No, great.
Thank you. Then we'll move on to RCMP Community Advisory Committee draft meeting minute notes, and that's also with Councillor Ford, who is not in attendance tonight. So if are there any questions on any of those reports? If there are none, could we get someone to accept the reports? mentioned that one, that's the Synoptis, right? No, that's okay, there was two for you, but. So we need a motion to accept the report.
I move that council accept reports 9.1 to 9.6 for information.
Thank you. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to information. Council communication package for November 21st. Anybody have any questions or any comments on that? So we'll need anybody want to make a motion here to accept that for information, Councillor Deuce.
I move that council accept item 10.1 for information.
Thank you. All those in favor? And that is carried. And that brings us to the closed session. We will require a motion to move us into closed. Mr. Forsyth, Councillor Forsyth, thank you very much. All those in favor to move into closed?
I do have to ask staff to
Yeah.
leave.
Okay, that's carried.